Hello everybody, my name is Lord Battora, but today you can call me Santa Claus. Lord Santa Claus, if you will. And today I present to you 100 AI-generated images of Santa Claus. In all technicality, there's more than 100, but, you know, whatever, you get the gist of it. It's a lot of pictures. I thought this would be a fun one, as well as relevant to the current time of year that it is. I've got a lot in store for you today. We're going to start off light with regular Santa Claus images, then we're going to go to horror Santa Claus images, and then I got a story for you. I have the Untold Story of Santa Claus. After that, we're going to look at epic Santa Clauses, and then pop culture Santa Clauses, YouTube Santa Clauses, and then the finale, which I'll keep a secret for now. But if you'd like to skip to any of those categories, you can go ahead and do so. The timestamps for each category is linked in the description below, so if you need to come back and finish the video later, or if you just want to see a specific part of it, you can do that. Also, linked in the description is a no commentary version of this if you just want to see the pictures without me talking over it. If you don't want to hear story time with Lord Battora, Christmas story time, then you can go ahead, click in the link below for the no commentary version, and you can just run through all the AI pictures. It's a lot faster, it's more condensed, you get the picture. So starting off, we've got just the plain old prompt Santa Claus. Nothing else was put into it, just Santa Claus, no modifiers, and it just gives us what it gives us. And we got this lovely image of Santa. He looks cheery, he looks jolly. He doesn't quite look like an official Santa. He looks more like a store Santa, if you ask me. But it is identifiable as Santa Claus, I would say. The one after that was pretty similar. Big bowl full of jelly. He's got two belts. You can see his hand is a little interesting. But you expect that type of thing from the AI at this point. And then after that, we got a more close-up image of Santa. Now this is pretty normal, except for he has a double, like, puffball at the end of his hat. And then also you'll see that he has 3 eyes instead of just 2, so that's kind of spooky. Then we got an illustrated version of Santa, which once again, it does this thing. You're gonna see a lot of this, where it gives him like the little puffballs at the end of his hat. And this one's just kind of staring vacantly. He looks kind of judgy. This is a judgy Santa Claus, I think. And then this is the only one that's going to be like this. All the rest of the images will actually have Santa Claus in it, but I wanted to show you this one also. So this one was just the prompt Santa Claus also, but with the night cafe styling applied to it, which is usually more for architecture and like places and locations and just lovely scenery, that type of thing, epic scenery. You can see like Santa's castle with the moon behind it, and then we had a couple more Santa Claus portraits. This one looks like a Santa Claus. It really is just a proper Santa Claus. The light's glowing off of his face. He doesn't particularly look really jolly, but he looks like a nice old man. It's a good-looking Santa Claus. This one got a little more whack. It's like Santa Claus until the nose down, where he's got a double stash. He's got like the most epic stash, but his mouth is really low. He's got the longest jaw ever. The most distance between a nose and a mouth possibly in existence. Once again, you can see the double puffballs on his hat. This one looks kind of a little disturbed, as if you told him something, and then he's like, yeah, that's probably more than the naughty list. I might need to report you to the FBI. And that's all there is for the regular Santa Clauses. So now we're going to hop into the horror-themed Santa Clauses. And the first one is just Santa Claus plus horror as like a modification, like a theme, or a filter, if you will. And we got this dark background with a little light in Santa Claus's hands, and I like this. This is the least horrific one, I would say, with the least horror themes, but you can still see the influence on it, and I kind of like Santa Claus, like, bringing that light in the darkness. You will notice that they decided to attach a puffball to the back of Santa's jacket, and he might be a tree if you look just below the rim of his coat. I don't know what's going on in this one. It just looks like Santa Claus is some sort of leader of the dead. You'll see all these kind of shadowy figures around Santa. He's probably doing some sort of ritual. I don't know if he's like a good guy in this situation. He's like putting all of these spooky spirits to sleep, or if he's raising the dead and he's more like a necromancer type of thing. Then we got Santa Claus versus the Krampus. Santa Claus fighting the Krampus. You see, we got the Krampus on the left side with his similar aesthetics to a degree. He's got the, if you will, rosy cheeks, more like blood red. And then he's got the facial hair, he's got the beard and the white fluffiness, except then he's also got the horns. And then we got Santa Claus at odds against him. Santa Claus' eyes are practically fully whited out because he's just in such a rage at seeing the Krampus, his arch nemesis. You'll see that there's 2 puffballs on this hat also. Like I said, the AI likes the puffballs. I don't know what else to tell you. This one is also Santa fights the Krampus, but now Santa's like making a retreat. It didn't go very well. The forces of darkness seem to have won in this case. It's probably because he didn't bring his red hat. You can see that Santa brought his green hat, which just doesn't have as much magic in it. This one was also Santa versus the Krampus, but you can see it kind of just made what might be the Krampus himself, or a mixture of Santa and the Krampus. You know that song, You Better Watch Out? You Better Not Cry? Yeah, it's talking about this Santa, I think. And then after that, we had Santa gives Michael Myers a knife. I think Santa is Michael Myers in this situation. I don't think that's Michael Myers who has the knife, but they're shaking hands. It's like they're working on a set together, so that's kind of interesting. Then the next one also decided that Santa was Michael Myers and isn't giving Michael Myers anything. But that is actually kind of spooky. Just look at that Santa Claus. He's got like a Santa Myers mask. That's pretty horrific. And then the one after that was Santa knows what you did last summer. So I guess this Santa knows what you did last summer. He's walking away ominously. I don't know, maybe he did something to that house in the background. He left a little more than coal, if you know what I'm saying. He's like left a bomb or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. And then we got Santa is the leader of a cult. And he's holding some sort of something in the air. I don't know if it's like a dried up heart or what. And then a goat head in his other hand. And there's shadows all around. Nice and spooky. I like it. And then on the same note, they decided to keep up, I guess they liked the goat aesthetic with the cult leader. And they gave Santa a goat head. I think he's singing Christmas carols. That kind of looks like a musical note. But it's just a little different, you know? More like Bang Crosby, you know what I'm saying? And then this one, we have Santa being haunted by the ghost of Christmas yet to come. And you can see that looks like it's kind of Santa. He's got the long white hair and stuff. He kind of got a coat, so that's probably Santa right there. And the ghost of Christmas yet to come is just some sort of hooded, faceless figure. The moon's shining behind him. They're in a graveyard, so I guess Santa has to change his ways, or else he's going to be damned for all time, just like old Scrooge. And this was the same prompt. I don't know what's going on. There's a ghost in the background. And then we've got this, I hesitate to say Santa Claus, with just one eye sticking out of a beard. He's not wearing red or any other traditional Santa Claus stuff, though there's miscellaneous Christmassy things around, like the candles, and you see some like branches and some ornaments on the side next to the candles. But it's basically just nightmare fuel. And I had to see it, so you have to see it. Then after that, we have an epic dark fantasy Santa, where Santa's like the final boss, and this guy's standing up to fight him. I don't think he's gonna win. Santa's like the raid boss in Raid Shadow Legends, not sponsored. But he could be an epic raid boss in any sort of mobile free-to-play ad game. You know what I'm saying. And then the last one here is an animation. It's a little bit different. It's supposed to be Santa setting a gift under the tree. But it ended up just kind of being this horrific, fleshy amalgamation where you can see like the shape of Santa with like a red cloak, but he's not like fully wearing it, and he has all sorts of masses of flesh and limbs kind of just floating around. You can kind of see where his beard and face should be, and you can see like where a tree might be and like a kind of vague outline of a gift should be. It's just very strange. It's like what you would think of some sort of like analog horror story or something like that, where you have a computer or some sort of entity that kind of has the gist of what humanity is, but doesn't fully understand it. So it's just kind of got these human-ish shapes and these human-ish concepts. It's pretty spooky, especially since it was made by an AI. And it ended up doing like a generic thing that you would think it would look like for an AI trying to figure out what it should look like. It's pretty weird, honestly.
Now, sit down and let me tell you the untold story of Santa Claus. It all began on Santa's wedding day, where he took Mrs. Claus to be his wife. Things were good for a while. Santa did his usual Santa activities that you are all familiar with, like preparing gifts for all the children, placing said gifts under the Christmas trees of everyone far and wide, wherever it took him. However, that all changed one fateful night when Santa slipped and fell onto the roof. After such a harrowing near-death experience, Santa was now questioning why he was doing all of this to begin with, and fell into a depressive midlife crisis of sorts. He thought, maybe I should do some receiving instead of giving for a change. So he started breaking into houses and taking whatever he desired, even the last of everyone's raviolis. However, he still felt unfulfilled. Sure, it was thrilling for a moment, but it didn't last. He thought about it for a while as he did nothing but play egregious amounts of video games and sit around with his jingle bells out. Then it hit him. He needed a more permanent, long-term change. He started going on dates with other women and having multiple girlfriends behind Mrs. Claus's back. His love life wasn't the only thing to change. His professional life was also due for a makeover. He tried both playing and coaching football, put hundreds of hours into being a social media influencer, including doing dances on TikTok. And finally, dentistry. After all, why were elves the only ones who got to have fun pulling people's teeth out? This career move, however, turned out to be a devastating mistake, as Santa was sued for millions due to dental malpractice. That, as well as burglary charges and failure to pay Mrs. Claus alimony after she divorced him due to his infidelity, landed Santa in prison for years, where he spent his time working out and getting ripped. He was eventually released as a fit, reformed man, ready to take control of his life again. But then, the next day, the war started and Santa Claus was drafted. He rose in the ranks, leading thousands into battle, and he became a war hero and a legend. After the war ended, he rode off his newfound fame into the world of politics, where he became the new president of the United States, becoming the most powerful and richest man in the world, where he now spends his days doing drugs and buying hookers.
Moving on from that, we have the epic portraits, as I would call it, of Santa Claus. This is the first one we got. He's just, it's an epic Santa Claus. It's so straightforward. You can see that glint in his eyes. He's not someone you want to mess with. This is a pretty badass Santa Claus. And then after that, we have an epic Santa as a warrior. He's got his swords, he's ready to go. Once again, you better watch out, because Santa Claus is coming to town and he's gonna wreck you. And what? Santa's still a warrior. I like his curved sword. You can see now he's got the puffball in his beard. He's like a tank. He's like a tank class. That's what this Santa is. And after that, we have the Dark Lord Santa Claus. His face is properly cut out, as you can see the destruction and darkness that is under his reign beneath him. He's like got a magic wand or something. I don't know, but it's like an evil magic wand. You can see like the thorns sticking out of it. It's the same thing with this one. It's a dark Santa. He looks mean. This Santa's like a dictator. Santa the dictator. Now, to be fair, you know, somebody has to keep the elves in line. What, are you gonna do it? No, that is such a nightmare. It's a hassle. They need that type of totalitarian order in order to keep them under control. Because elves, they're just chaos. They're pure chaos. The world would be ruined if it wasn't for Santa doing what he has to do. Somebody's got to do it. And then this one was supposed to be Santa with a robotic eye as a cyborg, and he just looks sad. He has 2 puffballs, even though this one's like really tiny. And then we have Ancient Santa. And I love this one also. It looks like he's in Egypt or something like that. He's got his ancient list carved into the stone. It's a lot smaller of a list, but he's got all the names and he's still checking it twice. They made paintings of the legend of Santa Claus as he emerges from the light. I just like this one too. And then we have Santa as a statue of David by Michelangelo. I think I have to censor it because I think that's a... Yeah, those are his jingle bells, actually. I just didn't realize this before. So I guess I have to censor this one. But I like it. It looks good. It looks like a marble statue, and he's like sitting on the stairs. It's pretty epic. Those ones were fun. Now we're going to get into the pop culture Santa Clauses. And I think it is proper that we start off with Santa in a Godzilla movie, riding off of our Godzilla being the first AI series that we've done. And it made this abomination. I think he's going to get destroyed by Godzilla, as most of Godzilla's opponents do. But you know, Santa Kaiju, I'm sure, has some magic that Godzilla might struggle with a little bit. But I'm sure in the end, they'll come to victory. After that, we got Studio Ghibli Santa Claus. And I like the looks of the Santa Claus. It looks good. It's like a Studio Ghibli Santa. But I'm really bothered by, like, the potato demon thing that they put on the right side. It's like one of the spirits from Spirited Away. It looks like some sort of yam. It's like a yam spirit. And they just decided to throw that in there with Santa Claus. And he kind of bothers me. He bothers me. We have Santa Claus in the Lion King. It's pretty horrific. Santa's like the Rafiki figure. His hand is kind of morphing into his hat. He's wearing shorts. But it's clearly a Santa with the facial hair, with his like Snow White beard and the hat thing. But instead of like just presenting Simba and like, look, behold, he decapitated Simba. And Mufasa down here looks devastated. He's like crying. So I think this was a lot more violent version of The Lion King. A lot darker. And who would have thought that putting Santa Claus in The Lion King would make it a darker story? I don't know. I guess that's just the way it is. It's a gift to all the herbivores, I guess. One less lion to go around. And then off of the Disney, I decided to do the Disney. The Disney filter. It's Santa Claus as a Disney Pixar character. And this is him. He's kind of just leaning in, saying hi. He looks a little uncertain that he should be here. He's kind of bulky. He's got a nice set of moves going on. Disney, what are you doing? Pixar, you've fallen so far. Disney Pixar's Santa Claus, the real Santa Claus. The Secret Life of Santa Claus. I don't know, something like that. You titled the movie. And then going from like that CG 3D idea, we decided to go into the realm of video games. Different type of CG. But I decided, you know what'd be fun? Santa Claus is Sonic. And there we got him. We got a Santa Sonic right here. And then an actual Sonic for reference to compare him to. Well, you'll see an actual Sonic, he's got 3 eyes. I would say just ignore that. Overall, you know, it kind of looks like Sonic. And then Sonic Santa isn't too bad except for his, like, imploded skull on the top of his head. Aside from his imploded head, I actually like the look of it. It looks pretty good for a Santa Sonic hybrid. Oh, I should also note, I also did one that was Sonic, or Santa is a Sonic OC. It just made this. So, make of that what you will. And going off more into video games, we got Santa in Five Nights at Freddy's. And it made this animatronic Santa Bear Nightmare. It'll kill you. I believe this Santa would kill you. Five Nights at Santa's. That's just straight up it. I'm waiting, everybody. I'm waiting for that fan game to come out. So if you ever do, you know, hook me up. I'll do a gameplay of Five Nights at Santa's. And once again, running with the video game trend, we got Santa in Street Fighter. He's got big Santa gloves. He looks pretty good. He's got the health bars up there. And I like the design. I overall like the design. I like that he has no eyes. For some reason, that stylistically just kind of works. I love that they just gave him giant boxing gloves and kind of sandals. His toes are like breaking out of his boots. It works. It kind of works. Into a game that we play here on Lord Battora is Santa Claus is the new Dead by Daylight killer. And I love this one. They have Santa. They took like the title screen of Dead by Daylight, or not the title screen. They took the lobby of Dead by Daylight and just they did that, and I love that so much. Santa's like waiting on the side. It's kind of mirrored, but you know, whatever. And he's looking at the screen. He's not looking like good intentioned. He looks like an evil Santa. He's not intending good things. You can see in the background that it has the campfire on the bottom right, like the campfire that the survivors wait around. There aren't really any survivors. There's a couple vague shapes, but you can see what it tried to do, and I just appreciate that. And then, of course, from that, we get to Santa Claus in Elden Ring. I'm not going to say anything. Just look at this. Look at this design. His hat fully covering his face. He's well armored up. This is perfect. This is the perfect Elden Ring character. Right there. And the last one for our video game trend is Santa Claus is Senator Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. There he is. He's a fit Santa. He's a buff Santa. It looks like he could take you out. He's got nanomachines, son. Like, it got the style right, I think, too. And he's got the muscles, so I appreciate this one. It did a pretty good job, I think. I decided to switch it up, go to a more sci-fi angle, and we got Santa Claus is an alien. And there he is. He's clearly a Voyager from outer space. He's got some sort of space suit and a weird helmet and the light shining around him. He's been around the universe, you can tell. He's got a weird lump on his head, so I don't know if he banged his head or if it's just he's got that odd-shaped skull like all the Nephilim, you know, all those conspiracy theory aliens do. So, there he is. And we got a couple more alien Santa Clauses for you. We got this one that is like the Space Pope Santa or something like that. And then the next one was a little weirder, and this one's my favorite of the Santa aliens. This surreal nightmare where you have this giant Santa floating in space and like some random humanish item. It looks like there's a tractor and like maybe a clock and a little like hut or something. Just this amalgamation of semi-human looking objects that he's just in control of, it looks like. Just floating around in space. He's like a cosmic giant. I love it. Speaking of aliens in a galaxy far, far away, Santa Claus is in a Star Wars movie poster. And you can see he is ready to teach a lesson to the Empire. He is ready to fight. His dukes are raised. R2-D2 or some other ripoff R2-D378, something like that. They're on their mission to go fight the Empire. But maybe he's not just a normal person. Maybe Santa Claus is a Jedi. And here you can see Jedi Santa kind of teaching normal Santa, or associating with normal Santa anyway. I don't know why there's two Santas in this one. You can see that Santa has a lightsaber. Jedi Santa on the left has a couple lightsabers, it looks like, in his belt. I like his hair, and this one I actually particularly like because it looks like he's in the movie. But what if Santa wasn't a Jedi? Maybe he wasn't one of the good guys. What if Santa was a Sith Lord? And I think he's probably the most powerful Sith Lord. As you can see, he's definitely got the most dangerous of all lightsabers, the middle finger lightsaber. That is probably the scariest design of all the Siths. I can't believe any of those other characters, all those evil villains across the whole series, haven't thought of the middle finger lightsaber yet. It's pretty dark. You can see the guy in the background is impressed. He's like, damn it, I should have invented that. But Sith Santa, he's gonna be the one to take down the Rebel Alliance. And then going off of Star Wars and pop culture and movies and posters, we're gonna go into Santa in Back to the Future. And there he is. But he's sitting there on top of the DeLorean, arms spread. It looks like it could be a better movie, you know. Back to the Future is known as a classic, but they really missed the opportunity to put Santa Claus in there. Jumping off of that, we go into Santa Claus is Superman. I did Godzilla is Superman, but I really liked that prompt, so I did it again. And here we have Super Santa flying through the sky, delivering presents. He can beat you up and also give you a gift. Not only does he knock out the villains, but he gives them a lump of coal afterwards. And then we got another one like that. It's just more of a superhero-styled Santa, more unique. It's not like a Santa cosplaying as Superman. It is he's a superhero in his own right. And it actually looks pretty good. I like his design as a superhero. And then he got his own comic after they pitched that idea. And you can see, I think it's, this one's Marvel. If you look at the top left, that scribble looks like it could be the Marvel logo. And then Super Sar Mats Het Kimp Akai. Now, I don't speak Santa, the North Pole language, whatever that is. So if somebody could translate that for me, I'd appreciate it. But he's sitting there. I like how he's... This is still from the Superman prompt, by the way. But I like how he's, like, got his hands on his chest. As if he's, like, revealing the S on Superman, but it's just revealing nothing. He's just kind of holding his chest. Also, just a little plus for throwing a bunch of random-ass golden ornaments in the background of the comic. It's like it's a Christmas present. Here, the first edition of Santa Claus kicks ass, or something like that. Now with all this sci-fi and superheroes and all that type of stuff, all this traditionally masculine products going around, I figured Santa needs to get in touch with his feminine side. So we got Santa Claus is a Barbie. Now, you can see in this one, he's with Barbie, and he is a Barbie doll. Santa is a Barbie doll. It looks pretty good. It looks like a doll. It could be. It could be. And then the one after that, I think, is a little more interesting. That's a fully human-looking Santa and a life-size Barbie doll who's standing right next to him, and he's in love, I think, with the way that he's holding his hand right there. Mrs. Claus is gonna get replaced by Barbie, I think. Santa is like foregoing the traditional relationships and opted for the effortless relationship with a doll. Going on from that, I think Santa need to get a little bit more in touch with his feminine side. We have Santa is an e-girl. And I would say he is. He's got his controller. He's showing it to you. It's pink. It's pretty. It's transparent. It looks neon like a proper gamer should be. He's done his makeup up. He looks pretty good. Look at his skin. This Santa's got perfect skin. But you know what? Santa decided that it's not really for him. Just because it was too much effort to do his makeup every time he had to stream. So instead, he just decided to be with an e-girl. And Santa... I just have to say this, her eyes are up here, alright? I see where you're looking, Santa. Stop being a pervert. And then also there's this one that it also made, but, you know, I just had to show you this one because it's just so damn cute. So, he decided that streaming wasn't for him, and instead, to pursue a music career. And Santa Claus is now on a pop album cover. And you can see here, he's got his heart right up there. He's got some Christmas tunes to lay down for you. It could be. He's looking a little crazy-eyed there, but that's all good. There's no problem with that. And then after that, he decided that pop wasn't really his thing, so he decided to do country instead. So we got Santa Carla Millie, Santa Mustafa, something like that. You know, you read it, you translate it. I can't read it. But he's sitting on his lounging chair. He's gonna lay down some country for you. Once again, he didn't really care for it, so instead, he decided to do some rap cover album. And we got Santa Claus, and he's raising his dukes. He's ready to go. He's ready to fight. And I like these ones the most because they look like they could most potentially be like a legitimate rap album cover. So you got this one, and then we got this animated one that's like him, but in kind of the shape of a snow globe. And then we got another animated one with him just making a weird face. He's just, ooh, damn. Santa Jammers! And then we got this one where it's just him sitting in an empty room. And I could see all four of those being actual rap album covers, so I really like those ones. going on from the musical celebrities, Santa decided instead he just wanted to be Snoop Dogg. And he did it. I think that looks like Snoop Dogg is Santa Claus. It's pretty good. But instead of being a celebrity, he didn't really care for the pressure as much and decided just to associate with them. And we have Santa singing with Mariah Carey, the Queen of Christmas, or whatever you want to call her. But once again, Santa, I told you this before. Her eyes are up here. Stop. Just stop. I know where you're looking, Santa. I can tell. And that was the end of our pop culture category. So now we're in our final one, the YouTube category. There's not a whole lot left, but we'll go through them. We got Santa Claus on the thumbnail of a Mr. Beast video. And there you go. He's doing an expression that I feel like would be pretty similar to a Mr. Beast one. He's got the mouth open like, and I feel like that as a pretty common theme with Mr. Beast's thumbnails, where there's the character, most often Mr. Beast, just right up on the cover with his mouth open going, like, wow, getting the hype and stuff like that. So it's okay. It's not too bad. And then from that, we just have Santa is a YouTuber, which it looks like a YouTuber. He's like sitting there. It looks like he might be holding a mouse, like he's leaning forward on a desk, and he's got the green screen on the side of the camera. He even knows how to be a YouTuber with the clickbait in the background. He's got the pretty girl just sitting there. So jumping off of that image that I gave you of a YouTuber, Santa decided, you know what? For the title of this video, you gotta use clickbait. Of course you gotta use, Santa knows. He had the idea here, but he decided to go a little bit further with straight up Santa Claus clickbait. And this is what we got. You can see that Santa took back seat to the lady in the bra, who's like, wow. I love this one. Santa Claus clickbait. It delivered. It delivered. And then this one, which is just my favorite. It's a Santa Claus thumbnail, and it is the most sincere, like, true Santa Claus that I have seen in an artistic, like, portrait style. It looks like Santa Claus. Look at his smooth face, the twinkle in his eye, his rosy chinks. This is legitimately such a good-looking Santa Claus. And I absolutely love this picture. It's great. It's one of those instances where I feel like the AI just legitimately made an amazing Santa Claus. And I'm very happy to show you that one. This one's probably the thumbnail just because it's such a good picture. And it's not like, there isn't really a whole lot that looks like really jank or anything. It looks just like a well-made image. Like maybe a little, if you want to get nitpicky, his hat, like, up on the back is a little oddly shaped. It's not like a perfect puffball there. It maybe should hang a little lower or something like that. But it's like, so, it would have to be so nitpicky. But it's actually a legitimately, like, beautiful Santa picture, I think. It's a good, wholesome note to end on. But wait a second. I forgot, there is one more category I mentioned at the start. There's one that I didn't tell you about yet. And that is Lord Battora is Santa Claus. Now, for the first one, it's half and half, dark side, light side face. I don't know what's going on, but there's this blue-faced, like, Santa that might be my good side, and then this, like, frozen elf character on the right side that's, like, my depressed evil Santa side. It's got some sort of 50-50 movie poster qualities. And then from that, we got this epic Santa looking up. He looks pretty badass. It's kind of got my eyebrow shape and my nose. They gave him golden eyes. I have blue eyes, if you haven't noticed, so that's not quite right. But it looks pretty badass. And this one took the Dark Lord approach to Santa Claus. From the Lord Battora is Santa. He's got like this evil cape and just like this sharp beard and stuff. Once again, this one, it got my nose, I feel like, to the most part, so that's a fun one. The Santas just end up looking evil. But to be fair, the Lord Battora character himself is more dark aligned. And it's just kind of funny that I picked up on that. But This one doesn't look like the most trustworthy, but once again, I feel like it's got a couple things. It got the blue eyes. I feel like it's got my nose shape down pretty accurately. And then this one, which is an anime-styled one, where they gave him glowing red eyes, just like Lord Battora, my animated, like, version of him. I love it. And then, I'll give you the last one that looks, I think, out of all the ones that I got it to generate that looked the most like me while still putting in some Santa features, was this one. It kind of looks like PewDiePie a little bit, but you can definitely see that it looks the most like my face. It could be because like the beard's a little less white, but I feel like the location of the hair, the nose shape, and the wrinkles next to the nose, it's got the blue eyes and the eyebrows the most proper, I think. And just so you guys have reference, I only use 2 images to feed into the AI to make these images off of, and these are the 2 images. So, once again, all the dark epic Santas was that goofier looking one, the one that I'm going like, ho ho ho! At least that's what I was intending. But it refused to do that and just made a bunch of really serious looking Santa Clauses. That's the end of this video. And I'd just like to say thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed all of these images of Santa Claus. I really enjoyed making this, as I did with the Godzilla video. I love making this AI generated art and putting in just so many ideas and just having so many like wacky crazy concepts coming back from it, and being able to like just have an idea and have an image produced off of that idea without needing to spend hours and hours and hours trying to like pop it out of your brain and onto a page if you're doing any traditional media route. And I think that really is where the AI generated art has its value and its utility, if you're an artist at all, which I am, is that you can explore and have ideas and not have to put in so much time and effort just to explore an idea. And as with this video, you can just be crazy and do a ton of nonsense with it and come up with so many fun results. So that was 100 AI generated images of Santa. Technically it's more than 100, it's probably more like 115 or something like that, but you know, whatever. And if you enjoyed this video, please smash like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I'd appreciate it more than anything if you'd share this video with a family member or a friend if you enjoyed it and you would like to support the channel. That does it more than anything. With that, I hope you have a wonderful day, night, whatever time you're watching this. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I hope you have a Happy New Year. Bye-bye.